Welcome to week 4 of Cookie Jar FX. I am your host, Eric Foreman, and we are in for quite a busy week. Close to the end of the month, and we have quite a bit of activity and moves that are setting up for some great opportunities going into this week. So, thank you for joining. Um, as always, today is Sunday's Brownie Bite, which gives an overview of what currency pairs I'm looking at for the week, what opportunities are there, what trades I'm currently in, what trades I'm looking at, and I scaled them between 1 through 10. Uh, but usually, if it's less than a 7 or 8, I'm not even bothering on an outlook of that. And even with the full list of currency pairs, if it is, as this week is, I would usually only trade no more than about 2 pairs. But it's to give you guys an idea of what I am looking at, what opportunities you can look at for yourself, and yeah, how to review the market in its overall standpoint. So, just kind of reviewing and backlogging a little bit from last week. If you guys remember, from my Friday close, I was in euro dollar as well as pound dollar. Euro dollar, I am currently up 55.79, like on my two positions, 55 and 79. If you guys remember, um, I was talking about this pullback into the 20, which we ended up getting, and I ended up adding another position. And as soon as I did that, we had an immediate hard drop to the downside, breaking that 4 hour 50. Uh, so I think on this overall move in itself, I was roughly up, I think almost 100 and something pips for the whole trade. Well, from this particular entry here. Yeah, about 120 pips on this. Um, the thing, if you guys know, I've been trying to catch this euro dollar trade for quite some time. Market makers just pretty much dragged the move out for quite a bit. I had missed the high entry off of that resistance level up there, and was able to catch it on a slight pullback for a pretty reasonable and decent entry. So if you see my entry from Friday is pretty much right at the top of the move, um, and then we was able to start breaking down. The thing I like about it is if we look at the weekly rate, we are officially with a huge bearish topping tail, which is super important because remember we was getting all these wicks for the past few weeks, and then we had this fake out bottom and tail with that push price up, and then immediately just brought price right back down. But now with this topping tail, we can truly anticipate at least some reasonable downside. My target is down here. I think from my fib levels, this is roughly about the 382 level. Um, yeah, so we'll I mean the 381. So we'll kind of see how that plays out. I'll put it here just so you guys can possibly see it. Yep, the 382 level just about. So yeah, that's my target, my first target. I mean, this is my 70% target in this range, but this is my overall target for roughly, I think I have marked on my journal, 310 pips. And then obviously, if we break through this level, we can expect price to potentially go down to the 200, but I'm not going to stretch it that far. Again, I just want to catch it at least down to this area. So because of my two positions on, roughly about 0.15, so far that might give us a potential of a $465 gain. I really I'm really anticipating that euro dollar works out well because the challenge I've had for the past few weeks with them is just all this nonsense that's been going on with the moves and just kind of pulling it upward, the 9 bar run up. But we already knew and anticipated that the 10 bar max is where we play, which is kind of where we're at now. So yeah, it was just it's a solid opportunity. I'm just hoping that we start off pretty immediate with the decline, because I really don't want to be in this trade too long, and I want to close out my month uh, with that positive net P&L. So remember, we was down to six. We are down to 686 in the account, but equity wise, from even this past week with both euro dollar and pound Aussie, which I'm going to get into in a second, we have reached as high as $900 in profit, which means we brought our drawdown from roughly about a 32% drawdown to roughly just a 10% in a matter of a few days. So, um, nice little light pat on the back, but we still have some work to do. I do, as I said on my Friday end of week analysis, I want to and I need to finish this month out with a positive P&L for the month at least. I don't care if it's even 5%. We need to finish off the month in positive net cash. So I believe we can strongly get there based off of these two positions in euro dollar and pound Aussie. But euro dollar is going to be the go-to uh, currency that's going to get us there. So I'm going to let this ride out for this week. I'm not going to play it too much. I'm not going to touch it too much unless I see some more potential ad opportunities. But my free margin is too tied up currently based off of both moves. Uh, the only way I'm going to be able to free that up is if I get out of my pound Aussie trade, which I've been considering based off of just where it's at and um, the valuation of the pips that I'm gaining on this. I'm only earning roughly about 35 cents per pip on this pound Aussie trade. So it's not really an ideal trade at this point for me. I thought it was gonna move a lot more immediate, and I'm not really with the sprinting effort. I'm more about the marathon, but this has just kind of been dragging. And if I have the potential to earn 300 pips or 200 pips on euro dollar, I'd rather have my capital tied into something on a full scale from just being in one currency pair. So yeah, this is still a potential cone trade I'm looking at. The target is still up to the 382. Roughly about, I think I have on my journal 625 pips, so that'll give us about $218 based off of the 35 cent per pip value. Again, I don't know if it's worth it. At this point, it is still a solid trade. We're just in the middle of the cone trade, and it should be a nice little move up. Um, Hopefully this week. I can't guarantee anything because I thought it would be last week that we got the move up, but we didn't. And we're still just kind of in place. But a nice little bar. It might take 2 weeks, and I don't know if this is worth my time. So that's the challenge. Like we may push up a little bit or get another setup that signifies that it's a bullish move, um, but still don't get that full completion to our target, and that's the challenge that I'm having and I'm facing. So when I'm thinking about time and effort compared to value, they always say time is money, right? So if I'm spending 2 weeks into a pound Aussie trade just to gain $218, I might as well get into euro dollar that may potentially get there in 1 week. Um, and I can free up my cash or so, or at least close positions that's gonna help elevate my equity balance. So just some thought and some light I have to give. As I tell you guys all the time, a trade isn't about just entering and exiting. It's really about managing the trade, managing your risk, managing your financials. That's where the real skill and craftsmanship from the game really comes in. So we'll see what happens with Pound Aussie. I was high as I think maybe $45 on this trade. Now I'm all the way down to 39 cents just with a one pip value um, at this point. So again, I don't know if it's worth it, but I'll make a decision when we open Sunday and as the weeks go by, and if I see any other potential on euro dollar. But I will definitely not take a loss on your pound Aussie. I'm not going to close it out in the negative. And if I end up doing that, may it just be like a $2 loss or something. So But yeah, I'll make that decision. Some updates on that. Uh, so when we look at the market list, right? So obviously euro dollar pound. I gotta put in the notes for that. Euro dollar and pound Aussie. Those are our top two trades. Um, I will asterisk this just so that we know we are currently in these trades. And I have no intentions of selling euro dollar until it reaches my target pound Aussie. We will be considering um, something else. And again, I see some other opportunities that's actually quite better than pound Aussie at this point, and that can potentially give even greater value. So let's take a quick look at pound dollar. Um, See what we're seeing here. So obviously we finished the week off with a topping tail, which is always great. I wish it was coming off of something a little bit more greater in regards to location. But overall, let me just change this real quick. Overall, it's still a decent and reasonable setup. Um, and I'll show you guys exactly why. And that is because of the daily double bear 180. Oh my God. This is like a rare current. Like you rarely ever see a move like that. We had one bear 180, no immediate, no real follow through, but then the Bulls tried to fake their way to the upside, and then the Bears came right back with another bear 180, confirming that they're still in control. So I love this. Uh, I definitely do not anticipate a bullish move to the upside at this point, because we already kind of coming off of a upward trending move, and then we're coming off the RSI level on the 70, the RSI 70 level. And then we got the weekly close with a topping toe. So I will definitely consider this a bearish opportunity setup. Um, I would gracefully probably start the target here from this resistance level, um, just based off of this location because of that. So that might be a potential target. And keep in mind that as the days go by, the moving averages move. So this moving average probably by the time the bearish candlesticks reach, it'll probably hit that level and it'll turn into a major support level. So I think it's an ideal trade. I love it. I like it. It's a textbook play. We have the bear 180s in our playbook. Um, so yeah, it's a solid opportunity. Um, and the monthly is a little sketch. That's the only challenge I personally really have with it. But overall, I think it's a reasonable location for where the move can potentially go. So we're talking at least down to here, roughly about 275 pips on that, which for pound dollar is more than possible. So yes to that. Um, let's see what else is next on the list. Aussie dollar. So we'll switch over to the dollar pairs real quick. Um, right. So Aussie dollar, looking at the weekly. So what I'm seeing here is obviously a solid rejection coming right off of the 200. So remember, we've been bashing this 200 for a while. Wicks in this area, and then we received the beautiful topping tail to finish out the week. So this particular trade may turn into a nice cone trade, which would be similar to what we're looking at on euro dollar on a weekly, if it breaks down and break this 8 MA. So I think Aussie dollar has a closer outlook for that, uh, where we can trade it down, um, at least to the 20, potentially. Obviously, these moving averages will move up. So I would roughly put it about here, about 275. So that sounds similar to pound dollar as well in that regards. But then also on the daily, we closed below the 20, right? So it's been pretty much 2 months since we've closed below the 20. But at this point, we just officially closed below it. Got the rejection off of the 200. I think the RSI levels on a weekly was it's pretty close on that. Um, yeah, so I think it's a reasonable assumption to have an outlook for that. And then when we look at the monthly, which I've noted down, we're coming right off of the monthly 50 MA. So it is not going to be a huge reversal or a long term reversal, I don't believe, but I can see a nice downside opportunity for at least down to the 8 on a monthly. So we may come down for maybe the next few weeks, uh, which would make sense in regards to this particular setup and cone trade opportunity that's presenting itself soon. So yeah, I like Aussie dollar. I'm rating it a top 10. I love the location. This is one of those I would load up and just let it ride out. But again, keep in mind with the Aussie pairs, they do not pay a lot. Uh, so it yeah, just keep that in mind. It doesn't pay a ridiculous amount. Um, so yeah, that's Aussie dollar. Loving that. Euro Aussie. I am looking at for a potential long, and I think there was only really one reason I had truly liked this particular setup. So obviously with all of this consolidation, consolidation doesn't fully consolidate. It shows some type of upside. So we see this 200 is kind of upward, but it's also sitting above the 8. It hasn't closed below it. It hasn't really broken it. It's just that this flat 50 MA is in the way currently. Um, so when I look at it from that perspective, I still can see a potential push up, right? So there's no particular target here, but like even a slight breakup is a ridiculous amount of pips. 415, 413, maybe more. The only challenge with Euro Aussie is that most of the activities here, it doesn't move huge. And if we do receive a huge move, it's probably because of some major event or activity in the market. But overall, the bars are always pretty miniature, very small, very tiny, not any huge activity. So we'll see. You see how this 1 week bar here is 460 pips. Uh, may get a reasonable bar in the daily for about 100 pips or so, 150, 170 here. Um, so and that's last month. We get a nice reasonable bar here for about 80 pips or so. So again, like even if I don't know something as simple as the target going to the 200, that's 130 pips just about. So um, again, it's and then you look at the daily, it's kind of in an uptrend. So I like it. I'm obviously not gonna trade it personally right now, but I do like the location. It's just this whole zone has just been consolidating forever. Like it has no interest in going anywhere, which I think is interesting. So yeah, Euro Aussie is not one of the trades that I always trade, but I did want to highlight it for today, um, because of yeah, just opening the scope, just in case any other traders may see it as a potential opportunity. You may have a potential to just day trade it too, because with a lot of these small individual bars, there may be some day trading opportunities, especially if the pip value is pretty great. I would intraday trade it. So you see like the rejections off of the 50 and then down, like that's pretty solid. Um, so yeah, you got like a bare 180 here, slight little pullback, doesn't really go much though, but I mean 50 pips, 50 pips. Uh, so yeah, I mean it may be some day trading opportunity, but personally, I just I just wouldn't trade it like that either. Uh, but yeah, just another outlook on that. I did spot it. Um, maybe might not be something to trade, but might be something to just pay attention to. So that's why it's rated at a 9. Euro yen. And again, you guys already know just from previous recordings, I do not trade any yen pairs. But again, just based off of serving the population and the public, uh, yeah, there's some opportunity here. Potentially, we have a nice weekly bear 180. Uh, we didn't officially close below the 200, but I would still count it as a bear 180 with a nice potential downside, kind of coming off of this 70 RSI level. So I like it. We closed below the 20 on a daily, which is pretty grounded. So we should at least potentially during this week at least reach the 50 MA on a daily for about 180 pips, which I mean, again, like if if you're looking at opportunities and it's not the best setup. I don't even want to say the best setup because we only take the best setups, right? Um, like it's not the most prettiest, right? So it's not the most prettiest setup, but you see the opportunity, or it's not the most prettiest pair that you like. So euro yen is not a currency pair that I'm really gonna trade. But if obviously my account was larger and I was able to divide my positions up quite well, um, and I'm seeing like a guaranteed 180 pips on a trade, then it's like, look, it's a textbook move. I'm gonna take it. Like I don't usually trade it, but in this instance, it's set up in my favor. I'm gonna take the trade. Why leave money on the table? It's 180 pips. Take it. So again, like if you had a one lot position on, that's $1,800. Like fuck it, I'm gonna take it. That's paying rent, or that's paying rent and a car note, or paying rent, a car note, and maybe all your bills for the month. So, like, don't leave any money on the table if you have the opportunity to just kind of snatch and grab, right? So I think euro yen is one of those snatch and grabs, potentially for this week, especially with this bear 180 here. And then we have a nice little top and tail for the month, which might bring us back below the 50 on a monthly, down to at least maybe the 20 to use for more support. So yeah, I would if I had the freed up equity, I will look into potentially trading that. But my last two favorites, Aussie CAD and Aussie New Zealand. I truly like the Aussie CAD trade. There are so many things lined up on it, right? So you guys already know the cone trade is probably my most favorite trade, and we are officially on a weekly cone trade. So let me just highlight the monthly real quick, coming off of the 50 MA rejection. Let me move this rectangle. So coming off the 50 MA, downward 50 MA, that's critical. Uh, so we will be looking for more support at the 8 or the 20. I love it. I like it. A lot of these currency pairs are kind of looking very similar on this setup, where they pulled up with this setup on a bar sequence right into the 50, and now we're starting to see some rejection. But let's look at the weekly cone, right? So the weekly cone, we traded from the 8 down to the 20. So right here, we're looking at a potential 150 pips or one. I'm not looking at the blue. Yeah, so about 150. But I see a double scoop potential here. So we'll probably go down to at least the 360 to the 50. And why do I say that? Because all of this is resistance here. So I think we'll probably highlight and come down to the 50. Again, the weekly, as the weekly breaks down, the MAs move up or move closer to the candlestick. So it'll probably reach this benchmark as we gradually progress downward. But yeah, this is a solid cone trade, like ridiculously solid. We've already closed below the 8, and again, just don't leave money on the table. And then when we look at the daily, we've already closed below the 50 now. So that's a nice, beautiful target for us. And again, if we trade it all the way down for a swing trade, long-term swing trade, is about 330 pips on that, which will match up again to our location, to the resistance in that area. So yeah, I truly love this trade. I think it's super solid. I'm gonna see if I'm missing any other notes on that weekly cone trade coming off rejection from the 200 RSI level. Let me see that RSI level again on the weekly. Yep. So we came right off of the 70 RSI level and shot right back down. So remember, like with a lot of these wicks, it's starting to give you a sign that price is starting to weaken in this area. So especially if it's coming off of a 200. So we got the close last week, well the week before, below the 200, which signified that we might potentially still be going down, and we immediately got the nice topping tail coming off of the 200. So at this point, we should at least be seeing a 20 in the next coming week. So maybe this week, depending upon how it plays. So yeah, everything lines up, right? In my notes, everything lines up, uh, and that's a rare occurrence where you have the monthly, the weekly, the daily, just all lined up in the favor of a particular bias, which I love. Last pair was Aussie New Zealand, right? So Aussie New Zealand's here, and again, like we got a nice top and tail off the weekly, right off of a 5 bar pull up. Um, no resistance here on the weekly. I mean on the monthly. No resistance on the weekly either. But signifies telling us a story, right? Telling us what's going on. But then when we look at the daily, like okay, like why do we get a top and tail? Like what else can we look at? What else can we assess? We have a bear 180, right? So that bear 180 is significant. Is one of our top trades, one of our Cookie Monster trades, right? So we traded down at least down to the 20 for a potential 80 pips there. Um, I wouldn't guarantee a double scoop on this, but I will at least put on the table a cone trade, a reasonable cone trade. This is pretty rock solid. So me personally, I would trade it down to that area. We coming off of a high extended RSI level, almost reaching probably about 90 on there, and now we've officially broke below the 70. So at this point, yeah, like, but we somewhat closed below the 8 on the daily. But yeah, I think it's a solid trade to at least bring it down to the 20 in May for about 90 pips or so. So again, just money on the table, free money to grab, man, and just get it while it's hot. Nothing extra complicated, no ridiculous setup where it's confusing. Um, this is money on the table for some Cookie Monster trades. So take full advantage of it. But that will close out my analysis for this week. Um, I'm trying to think if I need to leave you guys with any tips. But again, I'll be posting this video. My next video will be Wednesday. I will make sure I post it on Wednesday on time. No excuses on that. My son's birthday is on Wednesday actually too. But I'll make sure I post it. No matter what time it is, even if it's like 11 o'clock in the evening, just that check in on the trade, just giving myself 5 minutes to present where I am on it. And then obviously Friday weekend close, just to see how we closed out for the weekend, or closed out by the week, the end of the week, right? um so yeah, so that'll be that. And Friday I'm really considering the end of my month. I know although August finishes on Monday, um like I want to make sure I finish this week off in positive net capital where we're back over $1,000. And I think that's all the major announcement. I will be posting a tutorial video this week as well. This one is going to be on how to set up your platform, right? So a lot of people, when they join Forex or they download the MT4 platform, they don't exactly know how to set it up. Where it looks somewhat like this, where you can moderate and change the color schemes, where you can include the indicators, how to change your bar tabs up top, how to show the market watch list, how to bring up your portal, just the crosshairs, measuring out your pips, just all these different things. So I will give a short tutorial on that. So be on the lookout for that video. It should be helpful. How to set up also your profiles, right? So that all your current, like I I like to have my stuff organized. I'm like OCD like that. So I like all my Aussie pairs to be together. I like all my US dollar pairs to be together, my pound pairs, so that when I'm switching or if I'm looking for a particular currency, I know exactly where to go. Um, and keep myself running and operating very efficiently. I'm not with having all of the monitors on my screen, although I'll show you how to do that as well. Um, I'm not with having four computer screens. It's not my thing either. Because again, I'm not running and I'm not day trading. That's number one. Number two, I'm not operating a bunch of trades at one time. Uh, that's not my flow. And I like to keep myself efficiently organized, um, and in tune and kind of respective to where I am. So I know for sure thinkingly and like consciously as I go about my day. All right, I'm in Eurodollar, I'm in Pound Aussie. I don't have to fumble over. Okay, like dang, like what other trades was I on? I'm in Eurodollar, Pound Aussie. Dang, I could have sworn I got into Aussie CAD, pound dollar, New Zealand CAD. Like that's too much, and I'm not tracking all of that. That's just too much work for me. So just keep it organized and sufficient. I will leave you guys with a quote from a podcast interview that I was listening to yesterday. Brene Brown with Tim Ferriss, and the interview was just phenomenal. So I would definitely recommend it. It was on YouTube. I know Tim Ferriss has a Spotify channel as well. Um, but Brene Brown, she's like a public speaker. Her demographic market is usually women, but a lot of the messages I think goes for anybody, without question. And she works with a lot of male CEOs, all types of stuff. She does phenomenal work. But what she said was, keep your shadows in front of you because they can only take you down from behind. So it's like the things that we fear, the things that we are afraid to confront, the challenges that we've gone through in life, the traumas that we've gone through in life, like face them head on. Um, because like if they're behind us and they're tracking us, like we deal with nightmares, we deal with fears, we deal with um just kind of carrying that emotional baggage. And I think in regards to trading, it's like whatever your fear is with it, whether it's like, damn, like I'm scared to take this risk. It's like, why are you afraid to take this risk? Like, why do you not want to get into trading? Why do you question the move that you're getting in? What is it about? Like, face it head on, because deep down is not. It may be something that you obviously have full control of addressing, and I think that's important. So like when it comes to those shadows, when it comes to those dark phases of our lives, or those dark areas of our lives, it's important for us to face them head on, no matter what. And I'm big on like not getting into arguments. I'm not getting into um, confrontation, but I will have a real discussion on anything with anybody. So it's like, all right, like, and it's even another thing. I'll give you another point, right? So another important factor is people that's afraid to hear the truth, like to hear criticism. It's like I just personally don't like. I don't shy away and I don't run from it. Like I respect somebody that's a little bit more truthful and honest. Like bro, you fucking up. Like what the hell are you doing? This ain't you. And really making me face my shadow head on. Like yo, like dang, like I gotta face myself in the mirror now with this. Um, like bro, you playing the game sloppy. Like what are you doing? Like it doesn't even have to pertain to trading itself. It's like even in relationships, like have your boy confront you, like yo, bro, that was a bad move, man. Like you shouldn't be doing that. Or even with finances, like yo, you spending a little bit too much money. You splurging a little bit too much. Like you got a family, you got this. Like maybe you should tone it down and really represent what's important. Like, and of course, some people can take that criticism. People are gonna do what they want to do anyways. But I think it's important to just be honest with yourself. I think that's the critical part. Like, Be honest with yourself. Be honest with who you are, where you are, what you need, what you want, what you don't want around you. Like me personally, like I'm big on not having a million people around me. I'm very private. I don't need the spotlight. I don't want the spotlight. Uh, I like my close knit of friends. So like today, this morning I was like, I'm taking a break from Instagram. Just deleted it. No notice. No, no. I'm not. I don't need to tell nobody. It's not important. I'm not on Instagram right now. Fuck it. I'm taking a week off right now. Because I'm recognizing that it's a huge distraction for me. Like last night, I caught myself up to like 2 o'clock in the morning just scrolling through bullshit. And it's like, man, you could be spending this time doing something else. I could have spent that 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever amount of time it was on reading or listening. And I was listening to a bunch of stuff, interviews, podcasts for hours right before, but so that could have been just my downtime, but it just really felt unimportant and that I really wasted my time, and I'm recognizing that I'm doing it more and more. So I had to face that shadow. Like, bro, what you doing out here? This ain't you got goals and dreams you trying to accomplish. You can't be wasting your time bullshitting and scrolling on Instagram. So I deleted it. So I'm like, fuck it. I gotta focus on me. I gotta keep doing me. So I leave you guys with that. Keep your shadows in front of you because they can only take you down from behind. Hope it helps. Hope it manifests. Hope it inspires, and hope it plants the seed for some changes. Um, so again, as always, thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. Click that subscribe button. Click that like button. Share it with a friend or family. And again, as always, if you have any questions or comments, just leave it in the video cap, and I'll definitely send a response. Yeah, and just happy trading, successful trading, and best wishes on this week. I look forward to connecting with you guys back on Wednesday and giving some updates on this euro dollar and pound Aussie trade. See if I'm gonna exit this pound Aussie trade this week. But the markets open up tonight, and I cannot wait. I love when the markets are open. It adds a sense of great energy for me during the week. The weekends are cool. It gives me my downtime, focus on some other stuff. But I love this work, man. Like I truly love it. So again, thank you for joining, and I will see you guys on Wednesday. Have a good one.